Hello everyone, this is Joshua Braffman, here to tell you about my idea for a Portal movie. Now, cast of characters will be fairly big, not too big, being that this is Portal and stuff like that. My idea would be that GLaDOS, like in a prologue scene, was actually a human at one point, and leader of the testing center, and she was testing the Rat Man, until at one point something goes wrong. I'm not entirely sure what, because frankly this idea isn't very fleshed out, but like something goes wrong and GLaDOS or Gladys or whatever her name is before she becomes the robot gets in an accident and becomes like a cyborg. Gradually she gets more and more messed up as a cyborg, starts putting the Rat Man through all this different crazy stuff. And, like, for example, the turret area, she first introduces that when she's a cyborg and she's going crazy. So, the Rat Man appears to die, and so obviously the people in Aperture Science want to get rid of GLaDOS, but as they find her, they see that she's already uploaded herself to this big, gigantic computer, the current GLaDOS, and she floods the area with a neurotoxin. And only at the last second do the Aperture Science people give her the morality core, which stops her from doing that, but it's already too late, and everyone in the Aperture Science place supposedly dies. And cut to present day, where mysterious letters are sent out to a whole bunch of people from Aperture Science. This is like 10 years later. Okay. And they're all like nondescript. They say like, "Dear subject name" here, and stuff like that. You have been selected to participate in Aperture Science Enrichment Center activities and stuff like that. But most people dismiss it as like one of those junk mail stuff, and so they move on with their lives. Except for one person, Chell, who was the main character of Portal 1, in case you didn't know. Her life hasn't been going too well. Like all the stuff that could possibly go wrong pretty much did. Like her boyfriend broke up with her, or was cheating on her, and she has no job, and she really doesn't know what to do with herself anymore. So in comes that letter, so she decides, what the hell, I'll go do it. And so thus begins the testing. Everything seems to be going fine. You know, all that regular testing stuff you see in Portal 1. Until, at one point, the Rat Man shows up and diverts Chell from the normal path. Tries to get her out of there, and actually, like, almost abducts her, and taking her away from GLaDOS and everything, and knocking her out because she really doesn't know what's going on. And she wakes up, and turns out that, and she's in a Rat Man den. You know, one of those places with all the old writings on the walls and stuff like that. And so she also meets a robot constructed from a turret and a personality core that has become sentient and lives on its own, named Wheatley. So together they try and escape, only for GLaDOS to say this is just part of the test. And from then on, they go through the test together, and it just keep getting harder and harder, until eventually they reach the quote-unquote cake room. They turn the corner, and of course the fire pit is there. And so what happens next is the turret bot sacrifices himself for Chell and the Ratman to survive. Now Wheatley, who actually I think might be like I guess maybe a double agent for GLaDOS at the point, like, is like they don't know it during the tests. He's been sabotaging them until at this point where he sees that GLaDOS was actually going to murder them, and so Wheatley decides to take matters into his own hands, going into a prototype mech suit sort of thing, like you see with the second Portal co-op bot, with the first Portal co-op bot in Portal 2. So eventually Chell and the Ratman make it through like the bowels of the Aperture Science Center, and somewhere along that line, I guess, yeah, during the turret ambush, the first turret ambush, well, no, the big turret ambush, because if we're going to do the movie, then it has to be all melded together somehow. During a big turret ambush, the Ratman is killed, and Chell is only saved by Wheatley, who is able, and the two are able to get to the room with GLaDOS in it, and thus a battle ensues and stuff like that. And so they see, a rocket turret destroys Wheatley, but not until after a conversation. If you remember, Wheatley's always talking about, or at least in the gameplay we've seen, he's always talking about how people constantly said about certain equipment he would die if he used it, like the flashlight disconnecting from the cable. So, like, the conversation they have right before Wheatley dies is like something like, "You told me if I ever use this stuff, if I ever left my cable, I would die. You told me if I used my flashlight, I would die. But and you even said if I used any other technology, I would die." And GLaDOS just simply says, "I never said I was lying." And then all of a sudden a rocket turret rips through Wheatley. So now it's like a big showdown between Chell and GLaDOS. And GLaDOS actually disconnects from that big, from the wire system up in the ceiling, and becomes like a sort of humanoid robot with like a, and steals Chell's portal gun from her, uses that as one of her hands, the other hand being a rocket turret. So as you can imagine, this could not end well. So rockets are flying all over the place until eventually Chell notices the area where, the emergency aperture science intelligence incinerator, which is the same thing she used to incinerate the companion cube at an earlier point in the movie. So what she does is she uses the portal gun again and rocket turret against GLaDOS, in the way that you would in the movie. I mean, the game, the way you would in the game, where essentially GLaDOS fires through portals, and instead of you hitting her, she hits herself with the rocket, and blasts herself into an emergency aperture site incinerator, which is a lot bigger than it was in the game. And so without GLaDOS, the whole place explodes how it does in the game, where everything rises up. And Chell wakes up surrounded by the ruins of the Aperture Science Center. She walks off into the distance, and the camera pans down, and you see a piece of burnt cake just lying there, and the credits roll. So, was that idea any good? Let me know if you think so, or if there's anything I can add, or anything you want to add, or take out, or something. And if you think that'd be a good movie for the game. Skullstar Productions, signing out.